Welcome to Kids Play Chefs. Today I'm cooking with two of my favorite chefs. Girls, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi. My name.
Your name is Maeve, and how old are you, Maeve?
I'm 4 years old.
Oh boy, and you've been cooking for a long time, right? How about you, Madison?
I'm Madison and I'm 6 years old.
Yeah, and have you been a chef for a long time? Have you been cooking a long time? About how many years?
Well, I started at old house. I just put chocolate chips and brown sugar together.
That was your first recipe?
Yeah.
Favorite thing to cook, Madison?
My favorite thing to cook is small brownies.
Okay, and how about you, Maeve? Do you have a favorite thing to cook? Well, you think of it. You tell me. Let's get started. Today we're going to make Goldilock's oatmeal cookies. And this is a recipe that's a friend of ours, right? And make sure you keep your hands really clean. I hope you don't mind. I invited some guests. Papa Bear, Mama Bear, Baby Bear, and Goldilocks are here with us. When you think of it, there's 3 bears and 1 little girl. So when you put that together, how many characters are in this story? It's 3 and 1 more. So how many would?
4.
4. And Maeve, you said you were 4, right? So maybe I forget. Let's get started though. What would be fun today is if we took the number 4 and everything we cook today is going to have that number 4 in it. And if we're lucky, we're each going to have 4 cookies at the end. So let's make sure we have all our ingredients. Madison, would you help be the detective? Do you have some brown sugar? Good. And you have a little bit of salt? Yes. And vanilla? All right. And if you're working with us at home, make sure you have all these things. You're probably going to need a little cup of water, Madison, or a little pitcher. Do you have some water there? Okay. She's going to go get a little container of water. And while she does, you know you're going to need some oatmeal, some baking powder. Oh, perfect. Just set that aside. You have some baking powder. I have a tub of flour. But I want to tell you a little bit that I found out about Goldilock's oatmeal cookies. If you have any kind of allergies, you don't have to worry because this recipe has no milk and it has no eggs. And you can use regular flour like I'm going to use and Madison and Maeve are going to use, I think. Or you can use another kind of flour, like here's brown rice flour. You could use that instead. I also discovered today, be sure and tell your mommy, Madison, that you can use steel cut oatmeal or you can use regular oatmeal. And the recipe works just fine. So let's start with all of our dry ingredients. And remember that we're going to take 4. Everything is going to be 1/4. So I'm going to open up my tub of flour. And I'm going to take a 1/4 cup measure. I have one that's blue and one that's red. And I'm going to put it in 1/4 of flour. I level it off, put it in the bowl. And did Maeve get to do that too, Madison? Just 1/4. Oh, you're helping her. Okay. 1/4 of flour. Oh, you know what I just thought of? I thought to think, is my oven preheating to 350? Yes, it is. And then I have a little skillet with one of our ingredients in. I'll talk to you about that in just a minute. So I have dry flour in the bowl, and so do you. let's take our little teeny tiny 1/4 of a teaspoon measurement. It's this little, it's not a tablespoon like this one. It's one little tiny 1/4 of a teaspoon. And I'm going to put a 1/4 of a teaspoon of baking powder in with the flour. In my bowl, sounds like a bell. Then I'm going to put a 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt. So see how we're using all the dry ingredients? Now I'm not holding the salt over my bowl because in case it spills, I don't want it to go in my bowl. I don't want my cookies to turn out salty. So just pour a little 1/4 teaspoon of salt and put it in your dry ingredients. So everything in here, the flour, the baking powder, and the 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I'm stirring it up just a little bit, real gently. Now we need a 1/4 cup of oatmeal. Now I'm going to take my 1/4 cup measure. You know the bears, that's why. They were busy making oatmeal. They called it porridge. So let's each put in a 1/4 cup of oats into our bowl. You all are such wonderful chefs. Madison, can you hear me okay? Okay, good. Now we have oatmeal, we have flour, we have baking powder, we have salt. Everything in there is dry. So I'm just mixing it up a little bit. And I want to show you what we're going to do with the butter. I'm going to move this over here. We're going to divide our butter up. You may have already done this. And we're going to use a 1/4 cup of butter. Now, I don't know if you ever noticed it, but in the box of butter, there's a measurement right on the side. So we want to have a 1/4 stick of butter that's melted. So I'm going to take this stick of butter. This is how you get a 1/4. And I'm going to cut this stick in half. I'm going to cut right through the paper. So I have 2 equal pieces of butter. You can just watch for a minute because I bet your butter's melted. So I have 2 equal pieces of butter, right, Mae? Now I'm going to take each of those pieces and I'm going to cut them in half. I'm dividing the butter stick into 4 equal pieces, and I'm going to cut the other one in half. So you know what's funny? When I take my finger and I measure what 1/4 of the butter is on the side of the box, it's about one of your baby fingers. It's about half of my pointer finger. Look, here's a piece of butter that is 1/4. Now, I need some melted butter. So what I did is I took my skillet and I put 1/4 of a stick of butter into that skillet. So each of you is going to need a 1/4 of a stick of butter melted. You may already have that done. So I'm going to take my bowl out. If you have some melted butter, you can ask Mommy to help you with this if you want. You get your melted butter. Thanks, Mom. And you pour the melted butter. Now we're adding some wet things to our dry ingredients. So I'm going to pour all that wonderful melted butter into this bowl. So far, we have used a 1/4 of butter, a 1/4 of a cup of flour, 1/4 of a cup of oatmeal, a 1/4 of a teaspoon of baking powder, and a 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt. Now we want to add some yummy flavor. So let's take our vanilla. Let's get our little tiny 1/4 of a teaspoon measure out again. And this time I am going to hold the vanilla over my bowl, but I'm still going to pour real carefully because I don't mind if the vanilla goes in the bowl. That'll just make it taste yummy. But I'm going to pour just a little bit real slowly. Here's a 1/4 of a teaspoon of vanilla in with the butter. And you know how to count to 12, right, girls? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Uh-oh, I forgot something really important. So I'm going to go back. I forgot one of the dry ingredients. Let me see. This is a real important one. I forgot to put in the 4th cup of brown sugar. Did you forget that too? So I'm going to take out your 1/4 of a cup measurement again. That's what's fun about cooking. Sometimes you make mistakes. Sometimes the science doesn't work. Here, I'm going to add my 4th cup of brown sugar. Now I've got wet and dry ingredients, but I need to put in some water. So the reason I was counting to 12 is because I'm going to take my little teaspoon, little 1/4 of a teaspoon measurement, and I'm going to fill it 12 times with water. Now, if you didn't want to do that, you could just take 1 big tablespoon of water and add it. But I'm going to count to 12. If you want to do this with me, look what I'm doing. I'm dipping out little 1/4 teaspoons of water. I'm going to count to 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It's so much fun, and I need one more, 12. So much fun to watch all of you cook. I'm just going to add a little extra in there. Okay, now I'm all ready. Now I have my brown sugar, my flour, my baking powder, my salt, the vanilla that was wet, the water that was wet, and the melted butter that was wet. And I'm going to start stirring it up. I'm going to take all those things and make kind of a little scoopy kind of mix. Now I've got a lot of cookie batter, and my batter looks a little bit too soupy. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to reach in my flour. If yours is looking too soupy too, I'm going to add 1 more tablespoon of flour. And I'm going to stir it up. Now I've got some good cookie dough. I want to make 4 cookies, of course, because we're working with the number 4. So I'm going to take out my cookie sheet, and I'm going to put a little bit of oil on it for my oil pitcher, just a little tiny bit. Rub it onto my cookie pan. You may have already done this. Rub it on, just lightly oil my cookie sheet. And then I'm going to divide my dough, my batter, into 4 separate clumps. I've got 4 little clumps of batter or dough inside my bowl. See that? Now I'm going to put them on my cookie sheet that has oil on it. Okay, I'm going to start dropping my clumps of dough onto my cookie sheet. There's 1, 2. So we've used that number 4, and I hope I'm going to have 4 cookies to eat tonight for dessert. Put that other clump there. And I'm getting it right down to the end of the dough, as you can see. I see the oatmeal still in there. The brown sugar is nice and tan. Okay, I'm scraping my bowl because I want to get all the goodness of these cookies. Okay. You're using a smart, I see some of the chefs at home are using pastry paper on their cookie sheet. That's very smart. That keeps it from sticking. I have my cookie sheet, it has 4, and the chefs that I can see at home are each making 4 cookies. That's great. So I'm going to put my cookies in the oven while you all are working. And we're going to play, we're going to play a game with the three bears and Goldilocks, a game that they love. It's called, let me stand up again. I'm going to open my oven door. My oven is nice and heated to 350 degrees. Now, sometimes at this point, you might want to put your cookie sheet into the refrigerator and let it get chilled. But you don't have to. You can put it right in the oven. Okay, Madison and Maeve are washing their hands. And let's play for a minute. Let's play Trivia Pursuit with the three bears and Goldilocks. You ready, girls? You coming back? And Madison, did the dough taste good? Okay, here's what, your cookies are in the oven, right? Okay, here's the first Trivia Pursuit question. You know the story of the three bears and Goldilocks, right? Which of Goldilocks' parents were not in the story? Which one is not there?
What did you say?
Which one of Goldilocks' parents is not in the story of the three bears and Goldilocks?
Dad.
The daddy, that's right, yay for you. Let's beat the salt bar. Get going. Here's the next Trivial Pursuit question. Is Maeve coming back?
Yeah.
This could be her question. Okay, Maeve, what piece of furniture gets broken in this story? Do you remember?
The little chair.
The little chair. Da-da-da. Wonderful. Okay, this question's for you, Madison. What were the bears eating in this story?
Oatmeal.
That's right. Do you remember the other name for the oatmeal? That's a hard one. They called it porridge. Isn't that right? Okay, good one though. You knew the oatmeal. Okay, here, this question's for you, Maeve. Why did the bears go out for a walk? Do you remember? Can you help her out, Madison? Why did they go out for a walk?
You cool it down.
What?
You cool it down.
Yes. Good working together. I like that teamwork. Okay, here's this one's for you, Madison. Which bear was probably tallest?
Papa Bear.
Which one?
Papa Bear.
Papa Bear. Oh, a lot of our daddies are taller. Okay, ready? Maybe this is your question. Who cried during the story?
The baby bear.
Oh, that's right. That's when his chair broke, right? Okay, now here's a hard one, Madison. Who's walking in the story?
Why?
Who's walking in the story? You know, walking.
The bear. Goldilocks?
Goldilocks walks up to their house, right? Who else is walking? The bears, you said, right? Excellent thinking. I'm going to beat this all for you. Maeve, this is your other trivia question. Who's running in the story? That was a hard one. Who's running in the story? Can you help her, Madison?
Who runs at the end?
Goldilocks.
Oh yes, Goldilocks gets those bears scare her and she starts running away. This is your last question, Madison, and there's one more for me. Who sits in the middle-sized chair, Madison?
What?
Which bear sits in the middle-sized chair? Medium chair.
Mama Bear.
Oh, the mama bear, right. Good going. And maybe this is yours. Who knocks on the door in the story?
Maybe it's your turn. Goldilocks.
Goldilocks. Wow. You know what? Our cookies take about 13 to 15 minutes to cook. When we take them out of the oven, they're going to be nice and soft. They're going to be a little bit brown, but you don't want them to get too brown. But you do want to take the pan out, set it on a rack like this one, and let it cool. Now let me show you my cookies I made this morning before you girls join me to cook. I'm going to reach inside. Gonna check my cookies in the real hot oven. Yeah, they're cooking along. They're not done yet. Now I know they're not done because they're soft and they're still running. But if I reach up here, excuse me for turning my back, these are the Goldilock cookies I cooked this morning. I made these with steel cut oats, and these cookies that are in my oven are made with oatmeal, regular oatmeal. So I'm going to enjoy these for dessert. Madison, when do you think you're going to eat your cookies when they're done?
When they're done, I'm going to eat them right after they're done.
All 4 of them?
No.
Wow. And how about you, Maeve? Are you going to save some for tonight?
Yeah.
Good. How many are you needing to save? If your sister and your mommy and your daddy are going to have one, how many do you girls need to save?
3.
3. There's mommy, there's daddy, and there's Marissa. So maybe you work together and do that. But anyway, I want to thank you for making cookies with me today. Remember to take your warm pan out, set it on your rack. When your cookies are mostly cool, they won't be ice cold, but mostly cool, you'll take a tool and you'll lift them up gently onto another pretty plate like I have here. And then you can have the part you might like best. You can enjoy your Goldilocks cookies. Hey, was this recipe fun to do, Maeve, or was it hard?
It was fun.
It was fun. And Madison, what was the best part for you before you say goodbye?
My favorite part was probably all of it.
All of it? Wow. Well, that was my favorite part, all of it. I want to thank you girls for being chefs with me today. Bye. We'll see you for the next Kids Play Chef, okay?
Bye.
Bye.